Welcome to AstroEnergy with astrologer angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the January 9th, 2018 edition of the AstroEnergy Astrology Show. My name is Shelley Overton and I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and I'm excited to be here with you today. We are looking at a high of 74 today with rain and thunder showers today and tomorrow here in Orlando. So that's the weather here. I hope you are staying dry and warm. We have a lot going on today, so I'm probably not going to chat much because I want to start out this week. I got a text message on Facebook from a listener who said they really felt like they wanted to hear more about the last signs that I had to race through at the end of last show, because I think it was like an hour and 10 minutes or close to 15 minutes trying to get everything in, and I ended up having to race through the last few signs. So today I'm going to start the show off with the last few signs, then we'll get to what's going on in the sky, and then we're going to take calls today. So if you're interested in getting a reading at the end, this last half of the show, which is, the next half hour, it is 347-994-3365 to call in, and push 1 when you call in so that I know you want to have a reading. Okay, so let's see here. So Sagittarius, it's going to be an interesting time. Let me see. Did I print? I was going to print the blank wheel. Oh no, I did print it. There it is. Sagittarius is the sign that has a natal ruler of Jupiter. So every year Jupiter goes into a new sign, and this year Jupiter went into the sign of Scorpio. That Sagittarius, Jupiter, the planet of fortune and expansion and spirituality, travel, education, went from the house of friendship in Libra for the last year. So it was about partnering for work endeavors and actually needing to. It's a really strong thing for Sagittarians to want to connect to someone else in the work environment, balance them and keep them grounded. Now going into the 12th house for them, Sagittarians are going to feel a lot more, normally they're kind of bubbly and buoyant, but this is probably going to make them a little bit more down to earth, serious, kind of going over a lot of dynamics of personal relationships and the psychology surrounding them. That's because Jupiter now falls in the 12th house of the hidden and subconscious in the chart of Sagittarius. So that's going to be a year-long energy for Sagittarians. And in November of this year, actually November 8th, I looked it up just before we went on, November 8th, Jupiter goes into your own sign. So you're going to feel much more bubbly and buoyant come that time of year. And it means that you're going to be less wanting to hold yourself up. Like last year was probably a lot of energy, like I said, around connecting to others. This year is more about being alone, being in your own thoughts, holding up, and really pushing the world away. You're going through kind of the metamorphosis this that Scorpio went through last year. So you're going to be wondering and thinking about commitment, about your value to other people and place in the world, because Sagittarius, even though they appear to be not always deeply present because they're a higher level vibrating, wanting to move on to the next thing kind of energy, they don't generally like to go down into the depths. So Jupiter is not going to really enjoy its time in Scorpio per se, although Scorpions and people with Scorpio may enjoy Jupiter being there because that will actually bring them up a bit. As Jupiter in November, you're going to feel that expansion in who you are and a stronger ability to say, hey, I'm here now, and you're in your own, it will be in your own sign. So it's going to be your start of November. And up until then, you're going to have a lot of those deeper psychological issues. And again, with Pluto in your second house, money, it's more serious about really shoring up your finances. You can't just, I mean, again, Jupiter and Sagittarius are the energies of having fun and moving on, playfulness, youth energy, not worrying too much about tomorrow. Saturn and Capricorn help you focus on tomorrow. It's about the structure that you have to create for money, finances, and it also is going to bring up love in your life, just the Libra energy from last year, which is conceptual, but actually the tangible side of relationships. You know, what are you doing about it? You may actually bring in somebody very tangible and committed. So that's actually a really good thing if you want that. Sagittarians aren't as concerned about commitment, but you know, I was just watching, this is interesting too, I was just watching Door's biopic this week, and I found it really interesting because Jim Morrison was born December 7th, and so he was very much a Sagittarian, and he had a lot of strong Gemini and Uranus in Gemini, so he was pretty wild and highly intuitive and intellectual, and he couldn't be pinned down. You could just see it. Like, they actually had live footage of him, and I just thought it was really fascinating to see that versus this Oliver Stone movie, which I had seen years ago. And Jim Morrison would, it was like he was running from himself, and he was always trying to express himself and not, and he had an alcohol and drug issue, so he was trying to escape things. And so always one way or the other, Sagittarius energy is moving on, moving around, moving forward, and being active. So that was just the connection I saw there, that he was kind of on the go. At the end of the relationship with the band, he went off to Paris. So anyway, so the travel energy is going to be more astral travel and in your mind for Sagittarius. Let's see what else you have real quick here. Uranus is in Aries, which is your house of children and romance. And so that's interesting because it is Taurus. Again, relationships for you and let's see, career, relationships, and money are all in earth signs for you, Sagittarius. And so moving Uranus from your house of home and family into, oh, hold on, let me double check this. No, I take that back. It's moving into your house of work. Just the way I drew out the map, the astrology for Sagittarius was a little confusing. Sorry. It's moving from romance into work, and it's going into the earth energy of Taurus. So for you, that's where you're going to probably put into play all this energy that you got from Jupiter in your house last year. And that energy, like I said, it's the Aquarian house. So it was bringing out those ideas like, I can't live this way anymore. I need to have freedom. Even though you may have been looking for a partner, it was probably a partner for business last year, but you may actually find that partner in romance, and someone who could be your romantic partner in the work environment and really help you become more independent, but also pragmatic. So it's going to be a really interesting combination. I know I touched on this last week, but Uranus, freewheeling, doesn't like to be pinned down, in Taurus, which is very plotting and very sometimes seemingly stagnant, but actually just very slow to make decisions and very methodical. So methodologies will change, and it is also about monetary value. So this is a time when you can actually earn money in the work environment from what you do and who you are as a person and your value, as opposed to helping someone else make money for the company. This is about you and your personal money. So that's your year, Sagittarius. Now, Capricorn, of course, you have Saturn, and Sagittarius, also Saturn in Capricorn is also going to affect your finances and make you need to settle down a little bit more and be more practical and pragmatic about where your career is and where the money's coming from there. So Capricorn, of course, is all about this. The earth signs are going to feel a lot better this year. And Capricorn, it's not that everything you've been dealing with Pluto being in your sign is necessarily going to go away. It's actually kind of at the fiery peaking point, so to speak, where you're going to feel a ramping up and a more strong intensity towards the change that's coming in the next couple of years. I was trying to look up the exact date, and I know I've marked it in my ephemeris, but Saturn will join up with Pluto in the next couple of years. And I was just looking here. It's going to be, yeah, it's January 2020. For the middle 2 weeks, it'll be in the same degrees, 22 degrees and into 23 degrees of Capricorn. So January 2020, that's 2 years from now. So the next 2 years, we are going through the whole territory that Pluto already has been through for you. And so this is your personality. This is who you are, your identity. Wherever Capricorn falls in the chart of everyone else, this is where you're starting to really buckle down, and you're at the last degrees of needing to control things out of fear. And those came out when Pluto went through those degrees, the first 20 degrees of the zodiac. And by the time we get to 2020, they'll have gone, Pluto will have gone through 22 degrees, a lot of 20s going on, and a lot of 2s. Anyway, numerologically, it's also bringing in pairing. And so, the number 2 is coupling, and it's also money. It's the second house in the zodiac, so it also associates to money and couples. So for you in the first house, sense of self is really challenged, and Saturn has a way of restricting. And even though it is your sign, it is about really learning that side of yourself, and it is the sign of mastery and being the boss. So that's what it is related to who you are. So you're learning how to be your own boss. You're learning how to be the master of yourself and your thoughts, your fears, your ego. And that's what that first house is, a sense of ego. Okay, so having Uranus in May move into your house of romance, creativity, and children, that's when you're going to find the unexpected partner, the unexpected pregnancy, and unexpected opportunities for creative endeavors and storytelling. It is the sign of drama, and it can be a really wonderful energy around like scripts and creating plays or creating something in the drama world. It could also be a graphic design business. Leo is really strongly connected to graphic design, creative endeavors around glass. For some reason, I have Venus in Leo, and I'm always attracted to glass. I had a whole bunch on my counter. I had to clear out of there this morning because I collect glass for some unknown reason. Anyway, so yeah, Capricorn, it's still a couple years of really buckling down and doing the work on ego. And really for you, the ego work is about understanding what you need to feel secure, because that's what Capricorn wants us to do, is feel secure. And it is the opposite sign to Cancer, which looks to that structure for security. So definitely Cancers will feel this energy along with Libra and Aries, as that is the cardinal square, the cardinal 90 degrees apart and 180 degree aspect signs. So Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn are going to have a really strong energy around what to do about shoring up the structures and systems in their lives, so wherever those fall in your charts. But for Capricorn, it's the first house. And then Jupiter falls in your 11th house, so that means you're going to have probably some legality issues or legal issues associated with your career. And that could also mean that it has to do with making your own business, but it is the focus for you, the research and development, finding out what to do. I mean, it's the Aquarian house with Scorpio, so that it's the energy of really quick information coming your way and doing the research and understanding the value of things and what you need to make things the way you want in your career. But it is also the people that you associate with. So you may have more people come into your life who are lawyers or people in law and politics, people who are researchers and professors, or anyway, all of that sort of thing. And that's also where you find how you're valued to others. So it can be about money from your career. Are you getting enough? Aquarius, the energy for you this year, out of the gate, Saturn in your 12th house. So it is about how you think. Okay, Aquarius is, again, very quantum in thinking. It takes from every source. It takes from every dimension. It doesn't think linearly. It thinks quantum. So it comes like radio signals from all directions. And that's why Aquarians can be so super smart, because they are getting information all the time electrically, and that goes to their brain. That's the modality that they receive. It's air energy, so it comes to the air like a radio signal, and electrical, and they perceive that way. So having Saturn move in from career, so of course, hang on a second. I'm just like, oh no, okay. Saturn, I'm sorry. Not Jupiter, which was the last sign we were talking about. Saturn went in from the 11th, which again was the house that Aquarius naturally rules, of understanding friendships and connectedness and networking and humanitarianism and globalism, into the 12th house. So now Saturn is saying, okay, you had all these wonderful ideas when Saturn was in Sagittarius, and now it's in the 12th house, so it's the subconscious and subliminal. And how do you reconcile the information you're getting? Because you are still getting it. That's the Pisces house, so it's coming intuitively, but Saturn wants to make it tangible. So there may be a disconnect for Aquarians about how information comes to them, and they may think it is linear, and they may think, I mean, naturally they think in a linear fashion, subliminally, subconsciously. So they have a paradigm or a overriding view of life as very tangible, and they may have gotten lost in the material world so much so that they've forgotten that it is actually an intuitive, energetic world. And so having Saturn in Capricorn in the 12th for Aquarius makes them more practical. They'll start to really question how the world is viewed. And this is interesting because my son has an Aquarius rising, so this absolutely affects him. And it's about understanding tradition and the structure that has come from before as we move closer to that Pluto conjunction in 2020. So the next 2 years are going to be really strong times of change for Aquarius, not just 2, but actually probably the next 10. Out of all the signs, Aquarius rising and Aquarius are going to get this Saturn going through the 12th and then into the 1st. It's going to be a Pluto conjunction to your rising sign or to your sun. And that means that there is major, major shifts going on, not only in your psyche and how you see life and how you process, but it's bringing in information from the collective. That's really what it is. And when it gets into Aquarius, when Saturn gets into Aquarius and Pluto gets into Aquarius, it's going to be like a rebirth, and it's going to be a complete fireworks going off. Things are lit up at night. Information is there that we never knew would be there. So Capricorn, the thing with Capricorn is that it's so focused in the material world that it has blinders on to other things that may give information to other ideas. And so that's what we're all learning to deal with as this energy moves from Capricorn into Aquarius, is how can we get past the idea that it's all just hard and fast and, it's real. It's going to be much more questionable as time goes on, and the children born around the millennium are going to be the vanguard of that whole shift and change. Capricorn, again, Taurus falls in your house of romance. Like I just said that when I started out. Oh, no, we're into Aquarius. See, that's what happens when we have paper. You forget to turn it. So it's home and family for Aquarius that is going to shift and change. And that means that you're moving away from wanting to be in that structured, tangible environment. Even though Saturn's in Capricorn, it makes you crave it psychologically. Uranus moving into your house of home and family is going to shift how you do work, how you do business. Traditionally, you may feel safe in a structured environment, but Aquarian is about technology and online business and entrepreneurship. So having Uranus, your ruling planet, going into the house of home and family is going to expand the desire to have a business there and have a career out of the home, because Saturn in the 12th wants you to hole up, and Uranus going into home and family is going to say, hey, if I feel like not going out into the world and maybe doing stuff at home, I'm going to have to find a way to do that. And the way to do that is we're going to get more, and Aquarius is very much feeling this, but we're all going to feel this, that we're going to get more into home delivery and having things come to the home and less out into the public places where it's going to be more sensitive. We don't feel like being there. Neptune is still in Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces falls into the second house of an Aquarius rising. And so it is still about having dreams and vision for how money should be made and how love should be. And so you're kind of battling, but fortunately for the Saturn, Pluto, and Capricorn energy, that's actually in cooperation with the visionary energy of Pisces. So with that said, the psychological, for Aquarius, all the psychological 12th house stuff is Pisces house, and it's in positive aspect to Neptune in your house of money. So if you follow your intuition and your inner voice, you're going to be making money, and it's going to be very visionary. And I can tell you by the next decade, you're going to be cutting edge people in this zodiac sign. So final people are Pisces. Still, like I said, Pisces, Neptune's in your first house. You've got Capricorn, Saturn, and Pluto in your 11th house. So friendships are being tested. They already were tested for the last 10 years, but they're still going to be even more so. I'm just trying to think. I can't believe it. 2007, 2008 was 10 years ago. I use that as a hallmark of Pluto moving into a new sign, but I can't believe it was already 10 years ago. That's crazy. So for the last 10 years, yeah, you've had that energy going on up in shifts and changes around people you network with, people you work with. And so as Saturn comes in, it's saying, hey, you've made these changes. You have this understanding, but now is the time to really own it and be the master of that territory. So it is going to be a time where you're going to be asked to do more work. You're going to be asked to take more responsibility, which for Pisces isn't necessarily one of the signs that wants to do that. But, it's going to be a new thing for you, and you're going to do really well. And so, so that whole energy is coming in, and let's see what else we have here for you. We've got Jupiter in your house of travel. So this is where you really start to feel, hey, this is something that I want to do. It's Jupiter rules education. You're going to learn and grow in that arena, and it's about freedom. Now, this is a square. Well, I shouldn't say that. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which squares Pisces, but actually the energy of Jupiter isn't terribly comfortable for Pisces. So as it goes into Scorpio, it kind of makes it more palatable, and it basically moves into the language of Pisces, which is water and emotion. And so, you're going to feel Jupiter translating that desire to connect to other cultures and to other arenas of growth, I guess is the best to put it, in your ninth house. So that's going to be just for the year, and then by the end of it, you're going to start to feel a lot of that information intuitively, which came through, is now going to be put to use in your career. So that's coming in on November 8th, when it goes into Sagittarius and moves into your house of career. So the end of the year is really good for you there. And if you're thinking of teaching, if you want to teach or learn or even do something that has to do with legal issues, you might also end up getting something like getting a business together that you're preparing for by the end of the year, or preparing to move, where you're going to have some of those legal issues. Like if you're planning on moving to another country, you might have to do some of the visas and the paperwork, in advance, and that could be for that as well. So Uranus into Taurus in the third for you, Pisces, and that's going to mean that you're going to start to talk more in real world terms, and it's not going to be as abstract necessarily or daydream, which is that Pisces energy, but you're going to actually be able, especially Saturn and Uranus are going to be in trine to each other, which affects your house of expansion around friendships and others associated with a good, strong career, and then also communication. Uranus in the third is siblings and neighbors. So you may find that there are some neighbors and siblings that could help you in bringing some of those visionary things to the real world, to tangibility. But also Uranus in your third house, ideas, ideas, ideas. That's the inventor energy. So yeah, you're going to come up with some real material ways of promoting and selling things if you would like to. And also teaching people, if you bring teaching into it. It's a really strong year of learning and teaching. So those are the last signs I didn't get to spend as much time on last week. Thank you for listening in, and I hope that helped. Let's see. So the title of this week's show is Deep Freeze, and of course, we've had the deep freeze, and we're getting a little bit out of it, but we've got 4 planets in Capricorn today. So, of course, Mercury is at 27 Sagittarius, which means that he also in 3 days will be going into Capricorn. So 5 planets in Capricorn. Yes, it is a deep freeze. Ironically, I was just noticing on the news that there is a heat wave in Australia, and they're losing some flying foxes, they call them. I think they're bats, but they lost I want to say 500. It doesn't seem like a lot, but 500 bats, I guess, died this week from the heat down there. So it is like a counterbalance going on there. But Uranus is in the last degrees of fire. And then we have Neptune in Pisces, water, 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 in positive aspect to Capricorn. So the change of Pluto at 19. Oh, we have all 3 planets at 19 today. Isn't that lovely? Pluto at 19 degrees Capricorn, Sun at 19, 17 minutes, and Venus at 19.2 minutes. And so they're a little bit wide, but they're still in sextile to Neptune. And so we've got all the people in California dealing with a storm over there. It seems like the last couple of weeks have been nothing but storms. And part of that is because we've had a lot of shift and change in the signs going from Sagittarius into Capricorn. We had Venus, we had the Sun, now we have Mercury. Of course, Mercury was retrograde. Mars was joining up with Jupiter this past week, and now he is just 1 degree past Jupiter at 19 Scorpio and Jupiter at 18 Scorpio. So there's been a lot of shift at the end of the year, and then Uranus just went direct last week from retrograde, which will also give us storms, and of course the fire energy of that. So that's probably the heat wave going on. And like I said before, a lot of tangents here in my mind. Every place in the world has kind of an identity associated with it energetically to astrology. So as planets transit, different areas of the world are triggered. And, it's kind of interesting, like if you want to research into like global astrology, you can look at what planets are and what goes on in different countries in the world and different parts of the world. Definitely the geography is as it is from how the world has evolved over time, but at the same time, it is energetically part of the whole, the collective of the universe, the collective of the solar system, and energies have influenced it through time as well. And it's the same for all the other planets and lights, which are the moon and the sun. So Uranus now direct, again, my earthquake guru on YouTube has been watching a lot of the shifts going on, and there's some building energies coming up in the northwest in the U.S. and also over in Iran and Turkey. They've been getting hit by earthquakes, and volcanoes are going off, and that's all that fire sign, fire energy from Aries. But I guess what my point was is energetically with what's going on, earth shifts. We have mudslides coming now that we had the fire. So the fire made the change. It squared all the Capricorn energy. And now the planets are starting to feel the water of Jupiter going into Scorpio and then Mars in Scorpio. And that's coming up on an inconjunct. Mars is coming up in Scorpio inconjunct to Uranus and Aries. And so it's going to be affecting what happened from that event, but it's expressing through water and earth, which combined are mud, which I listen to Ann Ortley, and she's always talking about water and earth or mud, and it's true, water and earth are mud, and that's what they're looking for to get now. We have Moon in Libra at 27, squaring Venus, and actually, it's 8 degrees outside ending orb, so it's moving away, but it is still square on my computer's version of it. And we have all the Capricorn is squaring Uranus as well. And of course, Venus and the Sun are moving closer and closer to Uranus. So in about a week, they're going to be squared. And so that means that there's going to be shifts and changes from the old guard. And I'm guessing it's probably someone in some elderly woman or some woman in spotlight, celebrity, or just a famous person is going to be at odds or have some unexpected news come up because of that Uranus in Aries. So there's going to be probably a face-off, I would guess, of something going on between a woman and a man in the news, and it's going to be very significant since Uranus is about power and the masses, and Venus is tradition and the old guard. It could be something like Theresa May. That's how I would kind of see it, because she is in a Capricorn country, and it's squaring kind of the masses in Aries who want to really have a say. They're kind of getting fired up right now. And so probably I'm guessing some Brexit stuff. I haven't seen any British news of any import lately, so I don't know. But that would be something I would infer from that particular aspect. So still a lot of stuff going on. Let's just check our daily guide here, our daily planner. Today is the 9th, which means Venus is conjunct Pluto. Yes, we have that. Venus and the Sun are conjunct, and Sun and Pluto are conjunct. We have an opposition of the Moon to Uranus at 4:45 a.m. this morning, so that just passed away Eastern time. And we've got the Moon sextiling Mercury in Sagittarius, and turns void, of course, at 11:13 Eastern this morning because the Moon moves into Scorpio at 3:05 p.m. Eastern. And then Venus is sextiling Mars, and the Moon sextiles Saturn, and Sun sextiles Mars today. So that's really actually pretty positive this afternoon. It's going to be really cooperative between water and earth. So we are building something new. And then Mercury goes into Capricorn tomorrow at 9:09 p.m. Pacific, and then it would be Thursday at 12:09 a.m. Eastern. We have Mercury conjunct Saturn on Saturday, and I don't know, we've got the Moon going into Sagittarius on Friday, and the Moon squaring Neptune early Saturday morning, so that probably isn't going to affect a lot of people on this side of the earth. And then Monday's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which means Jupiter is sextile Pluto that day, which is a really wonderful cooperative energy for learning and understanding and tradition, so the tradition of that holiday. And then next week we'll deal with a new moon on the Tuesday of the show. So that's what we have to look forward to this coming week, and it's already 11:33, so I'm going to take a quick break, and then we will callers on the other side of the break. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you in a sec.
The day said you were sorry for something that I didn't even think twice. You felt so bad that you couldn't be around, but I gotta say it was kind of nice to be by myself. There's no rules, you don't have to open my door, put your heart back on the shelf, don't act too cool. I want one more, no, take me out on the town. You smell so fine, you even know how to order wine. And you look me in the eye to know what's on my mind. But that's not your concern. There's no rules. I'm not one that likes to keep score. Nothing lost, nothing learned. Don't be a fool. For I won't want more. No, I don't want to love you forever. Keep me in the back of your mind. No, I don't want to love you forever. Keep me in the back of your mind. 'Cause it is what it is. Just is what it is. It is what it is. Just is what it is. And it ain't what it ain't. Just is what it is. It is what it is. It just is what it is. Tell me what it is. Before too long, no, I don't want to love you. No, I don't want to love you. I don't want to love you. No, I don't want to love you. Said I don't want to love you. No, I don't want to love you. Just keep me high. Keep me in the back of my heart.
Bria Schoenberg's new CD, So Is the Day, can be found at randomactrecords.com. And welcome back. Boy, that was a nice little break. I haven't listened to that song in a while, and she's got a great voice. So, yeah, my name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and you are listening to the AstroEnergy show on Blog Talk. And if you want to get a hold of me for a reading, it's astrologerangel.com. So let's see who we have online. Can't even hear me. Hi, 706. How are you? Hello.
Hello.
Hi. This is Susie.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who is this?
This is Christy.
Hi, Christy. Christy.
Christy.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Shelley?
I'm doing well. So, let me just real quick get your birth information, and we'll see what's on in your chart.
Okay. I was born
What's
June
your birth?
8th.
Okay. What year?
1978.
Okay. And do you know what time?
5:22 p.m.
Okay. And where about?
Orlando, Florida.
No, you did not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're one of the rare natives of Florida.
Exactly. My dad was a native
Cool.
too. He was born over there, Winter Garden.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what can I do for you today?
Well, I'm calling because I have had a little bit of a rough time, to put it mildly.
Oh no.
The past, especially the past 3 years, but prior to that, even like total of 6 years or so.
Yeah.
And my main issue right now is financial and job related. So I'm looking to try to get a good paying job. I'd like a boss who, is kind and respects me, treats me respectfully. I seem to
Absolutely.
have had a lot of trouble finding that. And my other question is there something in my chart that is, I don't know, set
Yes.
up to cause these things? Okay.
Yes.
It
You have
feels like
Chiron.
that.
You have Chiron in Taurus, which can be, how to explain it? Taurus is a sign that is like, when the planets go through Aries, you have like this awakening of this assertive, aggressive energy and a drive. When it gets to Taurus, it brings it down into the material world, and it kind of can be more abusive, honestly. So you have to kind of watch out for what planets are in Taurus. And Chiron is the wounded healer. It's in Taurus for you, which makes it the area where you're kind of not treated nicely. And I want to say a lot of times with Taurus, they can also, the Taurus energy can be seen by others. I mean, it's such a quick society we live in anymore. Taurus takes its time. So for you, the Taurus energy, it starts out as Aries in your house of work, then it shifts into Taurus. And so Taurus is like, you're very thoughtful and responsible, and the person you are can be sort of, not seen for who you truly are, like in the work environment. Like you could be very,
right on.
conscientious, but you're not getting taken that way. You might like, you take you for, why don't you understand this like we all do? Like, because it's not that you don't understand it. It's just that you have to understand information in a certain way that's more linear and methodical. And then everyone else just they lose patience with you. And that's the energy in your house of work. Yeah. And so Uranus moving into Taurus will definitely quicken that energy up. You'll feel like, whoa, where did this come from? You'll start to be much more conscientious about the minutia, so to speak. And you're definitely going to have like an awakening as that happens closer into May. So the other side of it can be, well, really what I would say with Uranus coming up on Chiron for you, because you have a 7-degree Chiron in Taurus, I think that you are moving into like doing something for yourself. You have Uranus right next to you. I mean, it's on the horizon when you were born. That is, and you are an entrepreneur, and I say it to so many people, and it's interesting because as we move in closer to this energy of awakening, the new decade, people are wanting to do their own thing more and more, and and I'm seeing it in the charts all over the place. I feel like a broken record, but it really is everywhere in the charts. You have Uranus in the house of work. You do want to be more autonomous. You do want to call your own shots. You have Saturn in which of course rules Capricorn, in the Capricorn house, which is career, but it's in Leo. You want to be creative. You want to be expressive, and Uranus is kind of squaring that energy for you. You have a 13-degree Leo midheaven, which is where you shine. Like you want to be in the spotlight, but Uranus is saying you have this rising sign, this Scorpio rising, that is at odds with being in the spotlight. And I completely get you, because I have a Scorpio rising too, and you do. And it's like you understand things at a level with Uranus and Scorpio. You understand things at this amazing, intense level. Like you're a genius when it comes to social skills and people. And yet it's like you can't bring yourself to go out and express it out where there are a lot of people watching you. I mean, that's kind of the energy that Saturn is restrictive, and it's in your house of career in the spotlight. So even though it's in Leo, it has a lot to say. I mean, you probably do have this great energy when you're put in that position, but I don't know if it's always comfortable for you, because not only that, you have Jupiter, Venus, and Moon in Cancer, and that's in kind of what would be the hidden side of being in the public eye. It's that ninth house, which is kind of like, I'm not ready to really be up there where everybody is. But guess what? North Node in Leo is at your midheaven right now. And it may not be comfortable, but you really do need to start expressing your creative side and what you know you have. As far as getting the job, yes, getting the job relates to Capricorn and Saturn in Capricorn. So probably for the next year, as long as Saturn's in the first 12 degrees, you're going to feel like I need to have something really tangible. But after that, I think that you're going to shift and you're going to be more flexible, and things will move a little bit differently with money and work. You're going to have more ideas, and it's not going to be as much about having your money situation so squared away. I mean, right now with all the energy in Capricorn is like highlighting money, like no, fear, need to have something tangible. I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me just see where Mars is in your first house, and Jupiter's there. I mean, like, it is such a great time. Like, you're really learning your value. That's why part of the reason you're having trouble is you are learning your own personal value. And when you start to wake up, you don't have tolerance for how people treat you any other way. You know, you're like, wait a minute, no, that's not okay. And then you speak up, and they may buckle down and try harder to make you feel bad. But you're not going to tolerate it anymore, I can tell you. And right now, I would say your own worst enemy is you. You have Vesta in Scorpio in the first house. So Vesta can be another person that's difficult, but it's in the first house. It's like, really, whoever, if there is another person that's a female who's difficult in your life, she's a direct reflection of you and what you don't want to admit is something that you would like to do. Like, a lot of times if we're looking at someone else and jealous, or, you know, going, I can't believe they spoke up in that setting. You know, why would they say that? I mean, don't they know they're going to look foolish? It's because you're afraid to do the very same thing. So that's not necessarily what I'm telling you is happening, although it could be. I'm just saying that look to where your environment reflects where you don't feel valued enough, or you don't necessarily value yourself. That's a huge lesson for the next year for you. And it will come. As far as the job is concerned, have you applied for anything?
Gosh, for the past few years, it's like I spent a year where I was unemployed, and my mom was helping me and things like that. When I finally grew and got a job, then that job I couldn't pay the rent with that job. I was working with benefits, you know, things were really looking up because I just got a job, but then I couldn't pay the rent. Then I got another job, and it's like what you said, where people, I think, just don't understand me, you know, don't get where I'm coming from, and I'm really busting my tail to do the absolute best I can, and they just don't see that. And so that job didn't work out, and then I was unemployed for a while. It's just been...
No, I totally get you. I with the Scorpio rising, I feel kind of the same energy you felt, that you keep working and promoting and trying to say, hey, look at what I can do. And people just aren't getting it. It's like a total disconnect. It's changing. Okay, this is the year of change in that whole process. But I do believe, I'm just looking at that Uranus conjunct your rising sign, going, you really are independent. You really are very entrepreneurial, and it doesn't mean you have to have a business like a bricks and mortar place, but it could mean that you have a therapy business, which I think would be really good for you. And the other thing I want to suggest to you, which I kind of suggest to a few people every now and then, is to look to agencies, because you've got Mercury in Gemini, you have Sun in Gemini, you have Uranus on the horizon. You really do have a side of you that doesn't want to be told what to do, and a Saturn in Leo. It's like, I got this. You don't have to tell me twice. I know what I'm doing. And that type of personality doesn't do well in a hierarchical setting per se, unless you can find a way. And this, I'm speaking from my personal experience, because I have Uranus close to my Sun. It's like, I can't be told what to do very easily. And so I used temp agencies back in the 80s and 90s. And, you know, when I was back living in Denver, and my computer just went to sleep. What the heck? Hang on. My screen just blacked out. I don't know what happened. Oh, it went to sleep. Okay. It just has to wake up in a second. Anyway, when you do that, what you do is you create that environment or a dynamic where you have the say, do I want to take the job or not? And, you have more personal power than you would necessarily in like just working for one boss. You can go into different settings and say, maybe I like this. And then you can try out different bosses. You can try out different kind of companies and different cultures within the companies.
Right.
So, and the other side of temp work is that you can almost immediately get work. They're looking for people to fill those jobs that they need to get in. And so I would recommend that for you. I know it's not necessarily an astrological thing, but I would say if you put yourself in a position, if you really need the income right now, try a temp agency, because they're gonna get you out the door. You're gonna be like right there getting the job. And then I really think that having different types of work or going into different settings. I got hired a couple different times. I'm an artist. I tell people this all the time. I do astrology and I do art and graphic design. That's what I was trained to do. I don't do as much graphic design now, but back when I was doing that, that's what I worked at. I worked in publishing and marketing and graphic design. So, that.
Right.
That would be a way to do that, is go into the temp agencies if you're interested. Saturn and Mercury, I'd say definitely something's coming in. Mercury is communications. It's the end of Sagittarius in the house of money. When it hits your Saturn, which, like I said, didn't I say tomorrow? I think I said tomorrow evening. So it's going to join up with Mercury and Saturn is communications. Your thoughts are going to be aligned with your career and with the practical side of doing something. So really, Mercury is your friend right now, because as Mercury goes through Capricorn, he's going to touch off that, like, okay, now I'm going to do something physical, tangible. We're going to get this going. And then he takes that energy into Pluto and makes the change, because those are the next planets. So Mercury will be on Pluto in about 2 weeks, which is the next major planet he actually joins up with. So he's communicating, literally communicating from the company and the business and the structure of the career to the change. So I would say you have a really strong opportunity within the next couple of weeks to meet up with some situation, someone. And I would also, because you have that Capricorn in the third house, do you have siblings that you could talk to? Maybe they know somebody.
I don't. Yeah, at this point, my family is not super involved in my life for various reasons. So that's a whole other call.
Okay, what about neighbors? It's neighbors as well. Do you have any neighbors that you're friendly with that you might just say, hey, I'm looking for a job. Do you know anybody who needs someone?
Yes, I do.
Okay. My last thing I want to ask you is, what do you do? What kind of field are you in?
I have done social work in the past, and I feel very connected to the
Uranus and Scorpio. And Pluto and Libra in the 12th does that. Yeah. Your life purpose is Saturn, and Saturn's in Leo in the house of Capricorn. And honestly, I'm looking at your chart going, I've said this before too. Taylor Swift, she's got a really strong fifth house, which is the Leo house, and the Capricorn connection. And you have Saturn and Leo in the Capricorn house near the midheaven. That's like fame point. You definitely have some energy in you that needs some attention, and you have the ability to really connect to the masses through your story, through drama and creativity and expression. I understand, and also the other thing I want to say now that you mention it, and I know this is getting almost into a full reading, so I don't want to go on too much longer, but the energy of Jupiter through Libra, and starting with Virgo, and then Libra, and then Scorpio, which is basically the time you said you've had difficulty, it was trying to get us aware of where we are giving away our power by identifying so strongly with those who are underdogs or not able to do things, and the poor. And I'm not saying to not do that, but what I'm saying is that the mentality of saying, can't you see how they need help? And, I'm going to help them. I do this. That's why I'm saying this. I identify with it. I'm definitely a champion the underdog, and I take in strays, and I'm always like, if somebody is the underdog, I'm going to rally for them. That's Scorpio. It's a sense of justice. Okay. When you're looking for work and money, it's like the exact opposite of what the kind of energy you need to channel to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's what Jupiter through Libra and Virgo was getting us aware of. It's like we will always help those in need. That's a given. But it doesn't help when we so strongly connect our outlook to the people who are helpless, apparently helpless, because now you've become it. And this energy that's coming in the next decade, the shift that we're seeing is definitely a law of attraction based energy, where if you're focused on something, you're going to manifest that. If that's what you're looking at, then now you have manifested. Like, the people couldn't pay bills, and, the people that are having a tough time, and that's what you're dealing with. So the only thing I can say to you is look at where your energy is focused, and if it's focused on lack, you're going to create more lack. So if you have in your life in any way, shape, or form, if you had a friend give you a gift card, if you had a friend call you up and say, what can I do to help you? Anything, wow, thank you so much, and show the appreciation for what you do have, because you're going to expand it. And this is a very, Capricorn energy, Saturn in Capricorn is very literal energy. I said that in my New Year shows. So that means that whatever you're putting out, you're going to get back immediately. It's like an instant karma. It's one for one. If you're focused on what you don't have, you're going to get more of what you don't have. It's just very literal right now. So there's not a lot of room for playful creativity, which, without getting into a whole other mind story here around creativity and playfulness, it's just literal. And I guess that's what I want to say. That's part of what we're learning right now is like how attraction works. If you're focused on this and you get that, then don't focus on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you go and do what I said about looking into temp agencies, I think you'll find some fortune there. Okay. And also, you've got all that Capricorn down there and money. It could be also old school stuff, and also the elderly. So, I've said this quite a few times to different callers. If you want to look to nursing homes or hospitals, if you want to do something, right now is a great time for that particular area in your chart for money. Okay?
Thank you so much, Shelley. This was incredibly right on. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Good. I hope I can help you. Okay, you too. Take care. Happy New Year.
Okay.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, let's get 202. Hi, 202. How are you? Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hi.
How are you? Who am I talking to?
This is Kay. How's it going?
I thought so. I'm good. What can I do for you today?
I just like to see what you see transit-wise that's popping for me.
Okay.
I think you should have me in there, 3-5.
I do. I've got you. Sagittarius, right,
cool.
16 degrees. Neptune at 22 Sag, so you got that Neptune right there in your first house. I guess the biggest shifts probably since we've talked are Saturn into Capricorn and Jupiter into Scorpio. And let me tell you, Jupiter's flying. He's already at, I don't even know. He's just like zooming right through those signs, or through the degrees. So that's in your house of money from career and other people associated with your career. It's the Aquarius house, so it's, information coming in very fast here. Humanitarianism and learning more about where the value comes from within your career. Saturn and Capricorn in the first house. Again, this year, well, probably the next 2.5 years you'll have it there, or 2 years. It's going to be a major shift around how you see yourself. It's the first house. So the beginning of the show when I was talking Sagittarius and Capricorn, that's the part of the show that's directed at you, because all this energy in Capricorn is really pulling out like how you be the master of your own life. And really that's the story. I mean, until I get more of a read, so to speak, on how this energy is playing out, it really is, Capricorn is the structure. It can be the physical structure. So you might actually end up picking up energy through your body, through your joints and your bones, and you may feel more sensitive to weather shifts, feel more painful joints or back pains or dental issues, stuff like that, because it's like that whole saying, I feel it in my bones. That's where it comes from. It comes from Capricorn, because that's where they feel everything. Yeah, and then you have a trine going on to all your Virgos. You have Saturn in Virgo and Jupiter in Virgo and Mars in Virgo. So for you, it's a lot about the shift and change of who you are and what you want in the material world, and how you express it in an educational setting or learning, or it can also be travel. Saturn in the ninth house is travel and expression of it's cultural and learning about other cultures. So, what do you do? Are you a teacher or something that having to do with speaking or teaching, anything like that, helping, medical?
No, I do. Well, I make movies on the side, which is what I'm trying to do for my documentaries on the side.
Yeah,
and my main
how's it
gig
going?
is just like kind of media licensing stuff. It's kind of on pause a little bit. I had surgery, so I actually have a few weeks just to like kind of do some stuff. I have some recoup time where I'm supposed to be honing in on it, but I'm sort of just chilling, not wanting to do much.
Well, everything in Capricorn is still in your first house, although Venus and the Sun and eventually Mercury will be moving into your house of money. Let me just tell you real quick when that is, and hang on a second. So Venus it's 22 degrees, so you need all these planets to hit 22. So Venus hits 22 on the 12th, this Friday, and then the Sun hits it, let me see, 12 degrees, 22, 22 is Saturday. And then Mercury, I think Mercury retrogrades, no, it doesn't, before it hits 22 Cap, and it hits that the 27th of January. So 12th, the 13th, and the 27th are more tangible financial income issues. Definitely Venus moving in at the end of the week is going to bring some opportunity for you as well, because Venus is in her own house, the Taurus house, and that's money. So that looks good for you. Yeah. And Uranus just went direct also on your natal Venus. And again, May is going to be that big shift for you, because Uranus goes into your next house at the exact same time it shifts signs. So it goes into your fifth house, out of your house of home and family. So that's the major shift away from family of origin into your own independent vision and your independent creative vision. And that's May 15th. So that's a major date for you. Yeah.
Is that that's a fun transit?
It's going to be a roller coaster ride, but it's very creative and very inventive. And also be careful of unexpected children, because Uranus is the unexpected, and it comes out of nowhere, and it goes into your house of children, which means it's romance, creativity, and children. So it's unexpected projects, unexpected romance, and unexpected pregnancies. So it can bring it all very quickly. Yeah. So, but it's also fertile, because it's Taurus. It's about planting seeds in the ground and growing something. So.
I love that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is a very new energy that we're coming into, and it's shifting. This year is a major shift back into Earth energy, and we'll feel that for a few years. So, yeah. It's going to be a shift. I don't know how else to say it. It's a shift.
I'm definitely
I'm
good on the Aries. I'm good with that.
It's tangible. Okay, good. Yeah, you have that Venus, it's like, I need to go, I need to be me. So you're going to. I want to say that there may also be a little extra money from Dad. I don't know if that's a possibility, but Capricorn rules Dad, and Venus in Capricorn in your house of money may mean Dad's going to give you a little bit of something. So while you're trying to get ready, you still got about 5 months before Uranus says, okay, this is the final. But even then, he goes back into Aries briefly at the end of the year into next year, and it'll be like, okay, one last gasp of having to rely on family, and then you're off to the races next year. Okay.
And then I got it. It's all me. I got it.
Yep.
Cool.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great New Year. Thanks for the call.
Thanks. You too.
All right,
Take
bye.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, only because I haven't taken so many calls in the last few shows, I'm going to take one last call. We're over time already. But hi, 313. How are you? Who's this? Hello. Are you there?
Hello.
Is this Robert?
Hello.
Robert Vaughn.
Yes,
Vaughn.
ma'am.
Oh my God, I've got both names in here, and I do that every time. How are you?
I'm greater than great.
Good. What's going on?
I've been calling in to check in. Getting into the calendar year anyway.
Yeah. Well,
New Year's Day for me and you is September 10th for me. So
I know. This is true. But yeah, you've got all that Jupiter in your first house, so it's actually going to get better and better. Neptune is in your house of money, and it's at 21. So that's like right.
Wait
like with.
Is it?
What?
Oh yeah, okay, that's my Neptune. I was going to say, is Neptune is 21 in my chart, or is it 21? Okay, yeah, I was going to say it's 21 in my chart.
No, it's 2157 in Scorpio at the very beginning. So you have a 21-degree Scorpio cusp of your house of money, which is the second house, and you have Neptune natally there. And so when Mars hits 21, it's at 19 now. So seriously, what it's telling you is, you have to really understand your own value, and then everything's aligning is really what I'm trying to get at. It's all aligning for you. You've got Mars and Jupiter coming up on your natal Neptune. So with the exception of when Jupiter retrogrades this year, which is going to really, it is about value. It's about personal value, how you see yourself in the eyes of others. Like, do you feel valued by others, and what are you going to do about it? Take your power back. You've got to write the story. It's your narrative, which seems to be a big catchword these days. But it is. And unless you're willing to do something about it, you can't let someone else tell you what you're worth. You have to say, no, this is what I'm worth, and believe it. And Jupiter goes right in there, the second day of February. You'll be feeling it at the very end of the month. Yeah. And let me see. Mars hits that point, 21 degrees. Mars. Where are we? Hang on. We've got to scroll up a little bit. On this Friday and Saturday. Yeah. So Mars is going to make it like something's coming in. Are you trying to tell me nothing's happening? I've been talking to you for a couple of years now. What's going on with you?
No. Well, you know what? I haven't talked to you in a while. I moved.
Okay, cool.
I was doing a lot of writing, but my favorite thing to do now is music. I just started learning the acoustic guitar.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Very
so now
cool.
I'm doing that. I'm not in a good place. That value thing you were just talking about. I went through something with a woman.
Yes.
Where something happened, and I haven't talked. Matter of fact, I talked to her, visited her this past Saturday for like the first time in 2.5 months.
Okay.
And it's like things have definitely changed. I missed her, but I can't have, things going down how they went down. So,
So it changed for the better or for the worse?
Well, it's not necessarily for the worse. I mean, the way it went down, you would think it was for the worse, but even the move, even the moving, like when I moved, something came up, and I took the opportunity to to free up some capital for myself. I'm looking real good there, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking a lot better than I was. I'm getting raises at work and stuff, and I'm like, wow. So, it's all good. Yeah, it's just all those things are. But that music, that playing that guitar, my God, that is just so much fun to me because I'm learning from scratch.
Yep. Well, you've got Mars and the Moon in Sagittarius, and I say it all the time. That's the ruler of musicians and music. And, that whole energy of that second house, it's ruled by Venus. So it's about beauty and making music. And you definitely have strong energy around it, and you could make money from it if you keep after it and you decide to.
Yeah. Leave that one. Leave that.
I mean, it's going to be happening in the next 2 years if that's what you want to do. Jupiter will be going into your second house, and it'll be going on your Mars and your Moon. And, of course...
every day.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's what happened. When I freed up the capital, first thing I did was got a massage. I had some shoulder issues, right? But then after that, I went to, I had been going past this music class, the building for the longest of time. I just happened to go in there because I sing, but I haven't sang in a while. I wanted to always do it, correctly. And I just stopped in there to check it out. So I did that. So I started the classes. But I had started doing the guitar on my own, without any help, just a DVD. I had bought one.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I started doing. I was making some progress, but I was like, oh, like sing right. So they have all kind of teachers in there. It's a little small building. They have all kind of stuff for you, like clarinet, vocal, guitar, piano, drum, anything you need. They got it.
That's so cool.
So I was like, what? Let me try one of the guitar classes out. I'm just thinking, let me go ahead and see where I'm at. Let me get a couple of questions. I keep on doing what I was doing. Oh, I got into the guitar class. I was hooked. I was like,
wow.
I was more into I'm more into the guitar than I'm into the vocals. So
that's cool.
The thing is, my teacher is, you never guess his name. This is going to get no show on time. It's Vaughn, like mine. Right. But this gentleman he worked with like famous musicians and things of this nature. Like,
wow.
A lot of people. Anita Baker was right there in the store in the building that one time, and he's telling me about Ray Charles and he worked with James Brown once.
Wow.
I was like, those people were actually like that. He was like, yeah, they were kind of like. I was like,
wow.
I was like, wow, the way that worked out. Just got me making that step. Because I had to make
That's very cool.
It didn't happen. I'm in the house right now. I just happen to be. I actually live next door to where I lived. Where I'm actually living next door to where I was before I moved where I was.
Right.
So now I'm back in that spot. I'm like, you know what? It's good. I was like, and everything just when I made that decision, just the acid and everything just worked out. It's been going like I've been here since October.
Great.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's exciting.
And I got out of everything, and it was just a beautiful thing.
Very cool.
It's a beautiful thing.
Well, it's only going to get better, I think. Jupiter's getting closer and closer to your Neptune, and let's see, it gets right on it, the 2nd of February. So, right there, that whole first week.
Aren't is Neptune square Jupiter in my natal chart, though?
It is.
So what does that mean now that it's about to be conjunct?
Well, that means Jupiter's going to be squaring how you naturally express yourself in career. And because your Jupiter is in Leo, you're kind of a storyteller on some level. And I know that is somewhat true because you were talking about your podcast and everything. But, you're dramatic. I mean, both signs are very dramatic, okay? Scorpio is very black and white in how it thinks. It says it's either good or bad. It's about value. Is it good or is it not good? If it's not good, it just discards it and it focuses on what is good. Leo is dramatic, but it's more about drama for attention getting and drama to be a part of a connectedness to someone. While Scorpio wants to merge with other people, Leo wants to be validated by other people. So having Jupiter squared Jupiter, I do want to caution you very strongly against having other people who could potentially take money from you, especially around career. because that is, I mean, it's a late degree Leo Scorpio aspect in your chart, and to me, that it's about trust, which is the Neptune in Scorpio, and it's about hearing a story, and you want to trust that the story is true, but it's probably not going to be. So I would really caution you when Jupiter gets down there. In February, you do have a fraud aspect, and especially Mars goes in this weekend. So I'm telling you, for the next month, have your little spidey sense up around other people and your money, okay? And especially careers.
Right.
People who are like, oh no, man, come on, do this with me. You'll be great. You got to go do this.
Right.
Really be cautious around opportunities for career that other, especially friends, because Leo rules friends. Okay.
Right.
And potentially women you might want to see, because it is the house of love. So you're a little more susceptible with friends and love. Okay.
Right.
But other than that, definitely Jupiter on your Neptune is about expanding how you see your personal value. So, I guess what I'm also saying is your Jupiter in Leo is squaring Jupiter on the Scorpio. So your life is attracted to the depth and the integrity, but you're susceptible to the flattery. So I would just watch out for the people who are trying to flatter you to get what they want. Okay?
Right.
Those are the ones to watch out for.
Actually, I think that might have been the problem I had with this last one.
Uh-huh.
Like, I might have just got.
Aw. Well, you do have Venus at 29 Leo. So
it's okay. Yeah.
But anyway, well, it's always good talking to you. I guess next time you got to call in a little earlier so I don't have to have you at the tail end, and I can actually spend a little more time with you.
Right.
But anyway, yeah.
Pleasure,
oh my gosh. Yeah. So happy New Year. I hope you had a wonderful time and stayed warm. My daughter was up in Flint, Michigan between Christmas and New Year's, and she froze her little tush off. So
I know. I heard you say that last week. I was like, why did you come up here?
Her stepsister lives up there, and her stepmother was up there, and that's not really something I want to go do. So anyway, yeah, she was up there. So. All right, Vaughn, it's good talking to you. We'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure.
All right. Thank you as always.
Take care. Happy New Year. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. Okay, that's the end of the show, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next week. Take care. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com. To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.